There we go. I think I just then clicked the wrong thing. Welcome. We are working in colored pencil again today. Just a warning, even moving right now, my back is, actually I do know what I did to my back. I worked on Patreon postcards for too long yesterday, but I am in a lot of pain today. I just took a ton of ibuprofen, so hopefully that kicks in soon, and I have coffee to try to counteract that. I don't know how well that's going to end, but there's a possibility the pain gets to be a bit much and I leave early. Hopefully not. I think I can make it through it. But anyway, you'll see me wiggling around more than usual just because, holy crap, ow. Anyway, if you don't know, I have ankylosing spondylitis, so my back, it's a type of arthritis that your joints start to fuse together if I sit still too long in any one position. I did that yesterday. So anyway, moving on from stuff no one cares about, just why I'm wiggly. So we're working in colored pencil. I am working on the Lux Archival sanded paper using various colored pencils. The supplies I'm using are linked in the video description. Just as a pre-warning, I have to give these warnings before all the live streams, otherwise somebody inevitably complains after the live stream's over. These live streams are not just an art lesson. If you're looking for an actual art lesson where we just focus on the art, that is what Patreon is for. For as little as $4 a month, you get access to all of my longer tutorials. There are over 300 available now. As soon as you sign up, you get instant access and a new one every single week. I work in multiple mediums. If you want to head over to my Patreon video library, the link to that is in the video description so you can see what lessons I do have available. And there's also a free 2-hour colored pencil demonstration so you can see if my teaching style is something that you would think would be a fit for you. But there was some grammar issues there, just whatever. For these live streams, this is a chance where I get to hang out and chat with you guys. You can ask whatever you want and we will chat. Let's see. Oh, I do want to show you too. Remind me before we're done. Actually, I'll probably show you now. So there are new Patreon rewards, and the cards came in yesterday. So for those with the highest tier now, your postcard will come in an actual envelope, which is kind of amazing because it's a postcard. When postcards get sent in the mail, they get stamps on them in weird locations and stuff. That's the nature of a postcard. But now these ones come in here. But this is what the higher tier is going to have. This is a sample. So here, the insides are falling out. I've got to make a complete video on this, but I just want to give you guys a preview. So here's the card. I had it done in a matte finish. So that's going to be the first one, and this will go out next month. So they always go out September's go out in October. October's go out in November. So it's always that month behind, same as the postcards. But now your postcard comes in there. This is actually September's postcard. Or no, wait. This is August postcard. These are the ones I was working on yesterday. The lighting does not look great on that. And then you also get the little sticker. These are vinyl die cut stickers. So they're actually really nice. It's kind of blurry and out of focus. See if you can, it's super blurry and out of focus. But anyway, the quality, I'm surprised, I'm really happy about, because if that quality wasn't good, I was like, I'm gonna have to go. I didn't know, I'd not bought stickers like that from this company before. So, in the back of the card, it's actually a greeting card. It's not just a postcard. So you can see the size difference. There's your postcard. Oh, here's your postcard size versus the, oh, no, not on camera. There we go. Versus the card. And then the card is it's blank on the inside. And then the back has glitch. Again, this is just super out of focus trying to show you guys, but you get an idea. So I'm super excited about these. So I've been excited. I haven't shown anyone the new cards yet, so you guys get to be first to see those. And there'll be a new one every month, so you'll get a card and a postcard at that higher tier. And those won't be the same image. Sometimes I might print on that card because it's a different finish, one of the past postcards, but each month, they're not going to be the same each month. Anyway, so Nellybug said, I had the worst week. Aw, so looking forward to the stream. The baby mouse I was hand rearing didn't make it. Oh, I'm sorry. My eldest guinea pig passed away. Oh my gosh, you're having a hard week. I am so sorry. It is the hardest part about animals. I so can relate to that. I'm so sorry. George Pencil Art said, I made it despite all the errands I had until now. Welcome. Kids Art makes a nice card. Thank you. Yeah, I'm super excited. So those cards, my plan, because I'll inevitably have leftovers each month. My plan on those is to eventually be able to sell, once I have 5 different cards, sell card packs. So if somebody didn't want to sign up for Patreon, they just wanted those cards, or if they were a lower level of Patreon and just wanted those cards, that would be an option. So we'll see how that goes. Hi, irritated paintbrush. Okay, let's get to work. See if I can not die from back pain. It's not that extreme. I'm being dramatic. I'm uncomfortable, but I am being dramatic. Okay. I need to put up some, I have a little bit of detailing and shading and such to do on this guy. I already sprayed him with texture fixative. I need some more tape. There it is. What are my favorite pieces of art, like in the world or that I've done? I couldn't even name the ones in the world, so I'm just gonna say, I don't know what are you looking for? Let's see. Stop sticking together tape. Why are you doing this to me? I can't function right now. My brain is mush from too much ibuprofen. I say too much ibuprofen. I didn't. It's not like an overdose situation. I'm not like swallowing a bottle. I'm responsible. And it's about the only painkiller that I will take though. But it does, like I said, it makes me super sleepy. So I may be napping through this. Oh, itchy eye. Okay. There we go. So I need to get some more shading on this guy. Let's use this darker, which one is this? This is red violet. So usually when I am shading with oranges, on oranges or yellows, I'm gonna go with purples, reds, violets. I'm not going to jump into black. That creates kind of a muddy, not cute mess. Let's see, we need to get, we'll make that fade up a bit more. What color do I want to use there? Because I do want to get a bit more of that blue reflection from the earth onto his belly. I have to be careful though, because I don't want it blending in with yellow and creating green where I don't want it to be green. Okay. Oh, my eyes are itchy today. Yay, allergies. Some of the, this is what I love so much about working on sanded paper. See how I was able, well, okay, he looks deformed because of the camera angle right now, but I'm able to completely just change, like add on top, and it really shows up well. If I did that on hot press watercolor paper, it would not show up. Cat's Art Pick said, can I press as hard on the Derwent Light Fast pencils as the Faber-Castell Polychromos? No, not as hard. Harder than, I would say, Luminance, because they don't have as much of a wax content, but they have more. The higher wax content a pencil has, the more it's likely to break. So I'm not, and just to be clear, because you guys hear me complain about Prismacolor breaking all the time, my issue with Prismacolor is just bad construction, like bad wood casings are contributing to it breaking. But a high wax content is going to break the more pressure you add. That is natural for that. So if I were to rank them like in row, like hardness or oil content up through the higher wax content, Polychromos is going to be your harder pencil. You can push a lot harder on that than anything else. The Derwent Light Fast, I would say, is next, followed by the Caran d'Ache Luminance, and then the, I would say, Prismacolors after that, and then the Derwent drawing pencils are probably one of the softest pencils. So that would probably be the order of like how much pressure you can add before it breaks. Moving on. Gypsy Heart said, in today's version of random questions for my 8-year-old girl, if you could morph into any animal in the world, what would it be and why? Yep, totally my kid. I take responsibility for her brain. Was she watching Teen Titans? No, she's 8. She's probably not watching that. Good for her. It's terrible. God, we tried watching that show again. It is so, or no, it's just Titans. It's not Teen Titans. One of the worst shows that has so much potential. It's painful. But anyway, moving on. My husband and I, because we were watching that, had that conversation. Well, I started the conversation because apparently my brain works like an 8-year-old girl. And I was asking, I'm like, I wonder what I would turn into if I could turn into any animal. And he looks at me like I'm dumb. And I said, I wouldn't turn into a frog. That sounds like a terrible idea. And he goes, no. And I'm like, what do you think I would turn into? And then I was like, oh, no, I don't think I would go with flamingo either. My husband was certain I would have chosen flamingo. That's a good question. Probably, I would say an orca. Yeah, I think an orca. I'd want to be an orca. Or something that could fly. But like a bird of prey. So I'd want to be at the top of that food chain as much as possible. I'd probably go that direction. I mean, okay, maybe a flamingo. Leisha said that matte finish on the postcard looks amazing. Are the greeting cards going to have a message from you, or are they for our use? They're for your use. So I wasn't sure. I went back and forth on putting a message, but I wanted something that if someone just wanted, like if I was just to sell a 5-pack of greeting cards, they can put inside whatever they wanted. Like it'll have my info on the back, but it's not, like it's just whatever you guys want to use it for. I went round and round on that one because the postcards have like the little message from me and a quote and stuff like that that's like specific to that month, and it says what month it's for on Patreon. These I'm going to leave blank, so you're able to use them for whatever. But you know, the envelope, obviously, let's say you wanted to use them to give to somebody else, that envelope is being used to ship it to you, so you would have to go get another envelope for it. So there's that. Gypsy Art said she watches the Teen Titans cartoon. I watched Titans and it's terrible. So many things not can. God, that show, if you have watched it, one of the things that is so annoying to me about Teen Titans, one, it's got one of the worst actresses. She makes Kristen Stewart look phenomenal. Like award level phenomenal on top in comparison. Whoever the actress who plays Dove, or what is it, Dove? What is her name in the show? The Dove is the character. The actual name of the character is, shoot, what is it? I don't know, something like bird related. The blonde girl, the bleach blonde, well, the wig, the bad wig, with the Botox that would be enough Botox to Botox like 30 women, is all in this one woman's face. She's trying to look like she's in her 20s. She's not. And I don't know why women think that. Anyway, she can't move her face. So when she talks, it's like this and nothing happens, and she could be happy or she could be sad, and you can tell because nothing can move. She can't really, and she's just horrible anyway. So her character is just painful to watch. I keep hoping something terrible happens to, like, that takes her out of the show. Unfortunately, the wrong character got, but anyway, moving on. No spoilers for anyone who likes to watch a really bad show. I mean, sometimes it's fun to watch something really bad so you can just laugh at the terribleness the whole time. Kind of like sci-fi. I used to love when I had TV sci-fi movies, or sci-fi channel movies. Oh my gosh, they're just fun. But this is, yeah, this is not trying to be silly and fun. So anyway, that, and then the nonstop characters, like there was one scene where somebody's like, well, I hate Batman because he did this and that, and he's evil, and he's a criminal, and he needs to be taken down, and he's, like the cop lady was saying, all the horrible things, he's a vigilante, all the things that are wrong with him, and we need to get rid of him. And so they get rid of him, he goes away, and I don't think this is even spoilers, because it doesn't really tell you any of the story or what's going on at this one scene, but like he's gone for temporary, I don't know, he's gone, and somebody else like takes his place and makes a call that was a reasonable call, and the bad guys get away because of it. And the police now, so we're talking minutes later, Batman would never let this happen. Oh my gosh, you're so irresponsible. And you're like, you can't have it both. Like, the writers have to be teenage girls. That's all I can think of. Like, they're so incompetent in their thinking process of, like, you didn't think that out, like inconsistencies where it's like, you established this attitude for this character, and 5 minutes later they flip-flopped, and it's not because they're a flip-flop character, it's because you're a flip-flop writer who just throws random words, and you're like, meh, I'm gonna pull a random like sentence out of a hat, and that's what I'm gonna make this character say. It's painfully bad. So yeah, that was really bad. And then the guy who plays, was it Nightwing? His character is nonstop the guilt. Oh, I'm guilty. Things that had nothing to do with me. I'm suffering from guilt over that this bad thing happened, and I couldn't prevent it because he physically couldn't prevent it. And I feel so guilty. The whininess. That's what it gets me. The emo whiny for no, like, it had nothing to, it is, it's maddening to watch that show. And it sucks because that's the sort of thing, I like comic book stuff. I like stuff like that. And this is so painfully just, it's atrocious. It is atrocious. That show is terrible. Let's see. Man, I can rant. Gypsy Heart said, owl or wolf for me. And of course, she's got it. She's a unicorn. I mean, why not? You know, if you can change animals, why couldn't it be a unicorn? I'm with her on that. Joseph says it would be a small monkey or ape here. I would have thought it'd be a cat for you. Or is it so that you can be the ape and then still be the master of your cat, of the cat horde? I think that's what it is. Dawn, yeah, she's just That actress, it's one of those things where it's like if I found out she was in a show, I would never watch. I wouldn't even start watching it because she's just like, oh, it's bad. Yeah, and she's always whispering her lines. Yeah, probably the Botox, I'm guessing, got into her throat, and she probably can't speak louder than that. Like, there's no, hey guys, you're just like, I'm going to smack you. Come on, you're an actress. You're supposed to have emotion in there. I'm a freaking YouTuber artist, and I've got more emotion talking about Facebook or how bad you act. Like, can you pretend you know how to do your job? That's just like, I mean, if somebody was hired to come clean your house, if you're a rich person like that, you can do that. I can't. I'm very jealous of you. But I would expect them to clean the house. But if they got here and they're like, yeah, I'm just going to sit here and listen to music, I feel like that's kind of the equivalent of watching this girl act. Yeah. Joseph, absolutely the wrong part of that duo. I would have been so much happier. Anyway. Pat said, my 2-year-old granddaughter asked me to pass her a blue crayon when I did. She said, no, that's teal. And gave me a disgust. I thought that's awesome. Claudio said, hi, I'm working on a parrot in Polychromos, and I cannot seem to get that vibrant, rich red for the feathers. It might be the paper that does not allow me many layers, but I don't know. It could be so many things. It could be the paper, it could be the color. So sometimes if you put a certain color next to it, that will make something appear to stand out more or be more muted because it's too similar in value to what's next to it. That could be, or hue. Certainly the paper. I know. So my first piece, now luckily it worked because it needed to be more muted. The first time I worked in colored pencil with Polychromos, I did it on Bristol vellum. I couldn't get my color saturation very good on that because it was too smooth and the color just couldn't like stick that well. So it was the end piece was more muted than I would have gone with had I had the choice, but on that paper it just wasn't for the way that I worked and the way that I blended. So I would blame more likely than not the paper. Let's see. Make sure to do the Outlaw Cree Fine Art. It'll highlight my name in orange so I know you're talking to me. Otherwise I'm probably going to miss your comment unintentionally. I try to keep up with them, but I might miss them. Linda said, I so agree. My husband was watching Titans and I just had to do something else. Yeah, me and Matt have tried several times. Like we stopped after whatever, sometime during the last season. And it's funny because we thought we finished it, but we started this season and we're like, I think we missed some stuff. But whatever, we didn't care enough to go back and rewatch it because it was just too painful then. So we watched it this time and I don't remember how many episodes we got into. And my husband, who's the biggest comic book nerd, he is just like, I can't do this anymore. This is so bad. I don't know which is worse, the actors or the writing. And not all the actors are bad. Some of the actors are actually decent. But, yeah, man. You have to wonder what someone did to get a certain role when they're that bad. Like, I just have questions. Let's see. Like, because it sure wasn't for your skill level. And it sure wasn't because you're like extraordinarily beautiful and people are going to want to look at you. You look like a rock with the amount of Botox you've had done. So that can't be it. So I have questions. I'm a jerk. Artistic Artist said, I love your art. Thank you. Aw. Yay. Or Artistic Flower. Did I say Artistic Artist? That doesn't make sense. Artistic Artist. Hopefully all the artists are artistic. I don't know. My brain's not here. I think it moved into my back. Maybe that's why it hurts so much. Good news is I did get all of the labels. I fought with my printer for like 40 minutes. It doesn't ever want to connect to my computer. It connects to my husband's, no problem. But I go to print. It's like, nope. And then it finally started printing, and it was printing. It was just like 40 minutes of drama before I got the postcards working. But they're all labeled. I need to order stamps today so that I can then get the stamps on them next Thursday. So I came up, was talking about this before, but I came up with a schedule, and I'm really excited because I'm able to get so much more done. Like, it's crazy the amount my back says I'm also crazy, but it's crazy the amount of work that I've been able to get done just because I made a schedule. And not only am I getting more work done, I'm getting more free time off. I've had evenings where I'm like, I don't have to work tonight. I can just sit outside in the backyard with the dogs, which is why poor bad cow over there has been a little itchier than usual lately. But it's been so nice. And it's funny, like you think when you make a schedule like, oh, I'm gonna lose I'm not gonna have any free time. It's going to be worse. And it's not. Like it's really making a difference. Like, cause I can wake up now and instantly, okay, I need to get this, and this done. And I was able to do it. Like I thought Tuesday would be my crazy, crazy busy day. And it wasn't. Yesterday it was actually busier than Tuesday because I had to edit 2 videos. I had to record the actual, the drawing. Like I hadn't done the video part of my artwork. I hadn't done that yet for yesterday's video. So I had to do that Tuesday morning. I had all of that done and Tuesday night's work all Tuesday morning because I had a schedule. It was crazy. Like I was just so excited about it. But anyway, so one of the things that I changed, one of the problems I have, and one of the reasons that I'm always late on Patreon postcards, and I don't mean late as in August going on September. That's supposed to happen. But I was always late because it was something I had to do once a month. Now that I do part of it once a week, I should never be late because that's like, I know every Thursday morning I get up, I work on Patreon postcards or upload the video. It should already be edited and then work on something to do with postcards, whether it be stuffing those envelopes or designing new merch or because I have to design a new sticker each month or like whatever it is. Every Thursday I have like a dedicated slot for the first time ever since I've been doing Patreon. I started that at the end of 2014. So I think I'm going to be on time with stuff finally. So I'm really excited about that. But yeah, having that schedule, I cannot recommend that enough if you are having a hard time finding time for stuff. And you think, well, I can't make a schedule because I don't have time in the schedule. Like it's depressing because I see all the stuff I have to do. I thought that too, and it's made everything better. Like so much better. Joseph said, I feel the same way about The Flash. The writing is awful and they won't let Barry grow as a character. Is that show even still on? We stopped watching it a long time ago. Years ago. I didn't even know they still made that one. The Arrow, we used to like Arrow too. I love the main actor, prettiest man. But Cassidy, whatever, the idiot girl, again with so much Botox, her face can't move. I'm seeing a trend here. I can't stand watching. It's kind of like listening to an like an audiobook, and the voice actor isn't acting. They're just reading dryly, like the equivalent of reading an IKEA instruction manual. Like there's no change. Exciting action, super sad thing, super happy thing, no change in their monotone voice as they read it. That is what it's like watching these women who have overdone to where their face can't move, yet they're trying to act. So she's just deformed looking. Her whole body, she's just done so much stuff to herself where you're just like, you were beautiful. Why did you do that to yourself? But anyway, makes it very hard to watch. And she's just a terrible actress anyway. But she was one of the main reasons I couldn't watch it anymore. I could not stand what my husband was the same thing. Like this is, and it turned out like it was kind of an internet thing. Everybody hated her. But she was kind of the main thing. That, and then the writing got really bad again. Like, anything on the CW, their writers follow a very specific pattern. I guess it works, but like Vampire Diaries, if you remember the beginning of that, it was the same on every episode. You had the main guy, what is it, Stefan, and I can't remember her name right now. What is her name? Oh, it's just like right there, and I can't think of it. But anyway, the 2 main characters. You had the I love you, and at the beginning of the episode was, oh, I love you so much, and by the end of the episode, whatever happened, but we can't be together. Cliffhanger. Next episode, I love you. The end of the episode, but we can't be together. That is what, like the formula of CW shows, all of them. That's their thing. So, or the teenage love story drama, whatever. And that one was, Arrow started doing that too. And they do that with that girl. And you're just like, this is stupid. This is so, and then the people getting mad. That's the other thing that drives me crazy on these shows, where people get super mad over things where it's like, if that happened in real life, the only people who would be upset about that situation are people who are mentally disturbed. Like, that get upset about like way too much all the time. They're very like, it's weird how you're just like, no one would react that way. No one would even care. And you're making it sound like it's the end of the world, that someone just did the most horrible thing to the other person. And you're like, no one would have even batted an eye if that happened in real life. They'd be like, all right. Really just, terrible. But we stopped watching that one. I don't know. God, I can't think of any shows. The last show I remember watching all of was, well, my brain shut down again. Sherlock Holmes. Dear God, that was hard to come up with. Sherlock Holmes, and then what was it? Firefly, Serenity, whatever one the show was. Like, other than that, it's like we never finish anything because they always get terrible. Okay. Need to pull some more purples in there. Oh, thanks for upgrading to Patreon, Linda. Oh, thank you. I'm gonna cry. Okay, what was I just doing? Oh yeah. Fixing the temperature in this room. Hold on. I can work my toys. That'll work. Okay. Let's see. Paul said, finally, Steve Burns from Blue's Clues never forgot about us. For us born in the 90s, at least who watched the show makes me cry. I saw something about that and I was like, why does anyone care? Like, I don't understand why anyone cared, including you. Maybe you could explain to me why you cared, because I was like, huh? Weird. I mean, actors leave all the time. So yeah, I was really confused on that one. Natalie said, I have to agree on the schedule. I used to be so good about sticking to it, but fell out of the habit when it got quiet at work. Busy times are coming for me. Nice. Yeah, it's kind of like going to the gym. Like when you get out of the habit of doing it. So back in, what was it, before 2007 when I had the surgeries and it took me like 6 months to get over, to heal and all that stuff, I just never got back into the habit. It's kind of like the gym. You get out of the habit of going to the gym and you're just like, meh. I'll start again eventually. So yeah, it's been amazing. Like it still surprises me how much more time I have, and I'm getting more done. I'm gonna have to work harder when I am working, but it's more focused work. It's like working smarter type thing. Paul said, CW shows demographic is pretty much 8 to 18. Yeah, and I realize that, but I mean, I watch a lot and I'll read a lot of young adult books and they can be good, but yeah, not those. I can't find my mouth. Claudio said, what is the paper then? Because all of my colors are kind of muted and I cannot put more layers. Well, how about you tell me what paper you're using? For me, I'm going to go with usually hot press, Arches hot press watercolor paper or Canson Me10s I've had good results with. So, but let me know what you're using and I can tell you if I've experienced the same, if it is something I've used. But if it's just too smooth, it is hard to get your colors to really stick to that. It can certainly be frustrating. Like I did one, God, I like working sometimes on the black paper, different colored paper. I used one that was, what was it, the Fabriano? Was it Fabriano Black? It was Fabriano Black paper. It was horrible. Worst paper I've used, but I've seen other artists use it and love it. So it just depends on your techniques. But that paper, oh my God, you could not layer at all. It was horrible. Hated it. Okay, back to work. Okay, I'm sitting like that too long. My back is going to start swearing at me soon. This little fat belly. So cute. Paul said, I was born in 96. Blue's Clues' original runtime was from 95 to 02, so pretty much my development years. And he hibernated from that show. his reason of leaving, he's balding. I think he's fired. I don't understand why it mattered, though. I mean, I look at shows I watched growing up, and when God, you know how many different Timmys there were? Like on Lassie, like you look at stuff and it's, I don't know, it was always weird to me. Like when I was reading that, I was really, not always weird to me, but I was really surprised to hear kids were bothered that they switched actors or what. Like it was a very odd, I still don't, you didn't help me. I still don't understand. Just let us loose. But then again, I'm the person that my parents are like, something's wrong. They'll watch something that's super sad and they're like in tears and I'm looking at it like, I don't get it. I don't know why I should be sad right now. They're like, there's something wrong with you. Shelly said, hello, Lisa and everyone. I've been out of touch for a few weeks. We lost my dad. Oh, August 23rd. I'm so sorry. So I'm starting to resurface. Nice to see how good this piece looks. I am so sorry. Oh. But I'm glad you're back. So I'm just blending with my pinky for the most part here. I've got enough on there. I don't need to add more to it. I still can't think, Paul, of anything I ever watched as a kid that I cared if anything. Maybe I didn't watch as much. I don't know. But I think too, the stuff that I watched as a kid, most of it was more cartoons, so you wouldn't even notice if something changed. Other than like, what was the one? Oh crap, I can't think of the name right now. The Bugaloos, I guess, was something that I used to watch. But even if that would have changed, I wouldn't have cared. Paul said, in short, those kids who watched him including were deeply attached to him. See, I don't understand that. It is weird. Why are you letting your kids watch so much TV that they're getting attached to a kid on TV? I don't know. See? My parents said something was wrong with me. Apparently, I'm proving that to you now. EO said, my favorite shows growing up were Three's Company and Happy Days. Holy, I'm old. I really liked, I remember watching MASH, which I still like. Like, it just brings me, I don't know, I like that show. I mean, I never see it anymore, but MASH, I remember, what was the, Gilligan's Island I really liked. Three's Company, definitely. Golden Girls, still love Golden Girls. My mom did not, I don't even know why my mom didn't like that show. I remember her not liking it. I don't know if it was like, she thought that some of the, like, Blanche was inappropriate, or if she just wanted kids watching those, like, adult jokes. I was a kid, I didn't get it. So, but yeah, I remember some of those shows. I guess I just don't understand being attached to a TV character. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. It's not something my brain can wrap around, I guess. Leisha said, my daughter watched Blue's Clues. It was a cute, upbeat cartoon show with really catchy music. Steve was the only real person in it. I still don't understand the feeling of lost people were saying they had. Like, I actually thought when I read that article, I'm like, they're making that up. No one was that attached. They're just trying to do clickbait. Apparently they were, and I'm the oddball. Gypsy Heart said, never go back as an adult and watch your old kid shows. I thought showing my kids Fraggle Rock would be amazing. No, it was not. It's not the same for me now. Yeah, I tried. So one of my favorite movies as a kid was The Neverending Story. And I was so excited a few years ago, and I was like, it's on Amazon Prime. Not the same. Oh, is that bad? It is horrible. Actually, that would be a fun remake. I would like that with, like, good acting. But, I couldn't finish it. I was like, holy crap. And I remember being in second grade, and they showed it to us in second grade at school. And then every time we got to rent a movie, I wanted to rent that. Like, that. There was one other one that I used to rent all the time. Obviously, Little Mermaid would be typical for me. That was a little bit later on. But yeah, Neverending Story was mine, and my sister rented Wizard of Oz. Like, those were the two things every time we both got to pick out a movie to rent. And we would just watch them again and again and again. So yeah, it would have been cheaper for my mom to buy the movies if we could afford it. Let's see. Claudio said it's a Sylvine sketchbook. Okay, I don't know that. 140 GSM, about $5, but it was rough enough to my surprise. And I've had some good realistic pieces, but mostly with neutral colors. Nothing is colorful. Yeah, I'm gonna say, well, okay. So to be fair, Polychromos are more translucent. So that may be part of what you're experiencing. So you may want to try a more opaque red, like a Caran d'Ache Luminance red, and see if that gives you results more what you want on that paper. You may have to adjust that way. So that could be potentially the issue. The other thing could be how you're layering it. So if you're layering it and you're pushing really, really hard, it may not look as vivid as if you had built up slowly lighter layers. Or the reverse may be true. It just depends on the paper, so you'd have to play around with that. Paul said, love so much Lisa. He has a special place in my heart. The fact that I know MASH, Golden Girls, and I Love Lucy makes me feel like I was born in the wrong era. Yeah, me too. Because some of those were during my time. Some of those, Lucy was obviously not. But yeah, the Bugaloos, there's a blast from the past, Nick said. What was Martha Ray's character again? I don't remember them, honestly. I only remember the name Bugaloos because my mom used to make such a big deal out of it because I guess I was obsessed as a kid. I remember, wasn't there like a man dressed up as a monster or a bee or a sea monster? I really don't remember a lot about it. My mom had me look up something on YouTube. I think there was a clip and it didn't even bring back memories at all. I was like, I don't remember any of this. Some stuff I've seen, I'm like, okay, I kind of remember that, but most of it, I think I was too little. It didn't imprint on me well. George Pencil Art said, LOL, and I think The Never Ending Story was horrible and a perfect title for that film. Well, I couldn't get through it. I was just like, this is just, I guess I loved it when I was like, 6, because I was 6 or 7 or whatever it was. But man, that was bad. At least my sister's favorite movie she watched over and over again, like Wizard of Oz, that was good. I can still watch that one. But, oh my gosh. Gypsy Heart said, the only exception for me was I showed my kids Fern Gully for a family movie night. And you just can't beat Robin Williams. That was the only other kid thing I can stand now. I don't remember. I remember Fern Gully coming on when I was babysitting. I don't think it was one I watched. I think that it was one that the kids I would be babysitting would be watching, and I don't remember paying that much attention to it. EO said, I was obsessed with the Wonder Years as well. Oh, I remember that show. Wasn't much into cartoons. By the way, enjoyed your Thursday video. Oh, thank you. Yeah, Wonder Years, I remember. I was thinking about that recently. I'm like, I wonder if I could go back and watch that if I would like it still. Tara said, mine was The Nightmare Before Christmas. Even now in my 30s, I still love that film. Took me years to get my own to even watch it. Yeah, my husband likes that one. But that wasn't from childhood. Like, we were older when that came out. Victoria said, I really loved watching these live chats and create beautiful art live videos. It's inspirational, and boy, do I need that. Maybe you're thinking of Sigmund the Sea Monster. Maybe. Hold on. Let's just do a little Google and see, since you've given me a name. Sigmund the Sea Monster. No. Definitely not. I've never seen that before. Or if I did, I don't remember it. That's not what I remember seeing. It was an older man who was like I remember being like a wizard and having a mustache and having seaweed on him. I don't know. That wasn't it though. Let's see. I was born in 77, so I think that one was before like mine. Brady Bunch was one. I watched that a lot. Let's see. Did you watch the original Charlie's Angel show? No, that was before me. Wonder Woman. I think a little bit, but I don't remember a whole lot about it. Sarah said, my son says he felt kind of like replacing Steve was like trying to replace Mr. Rogers. He says he can't really describe or quantify it. Steve really resonated with the little ones. So weird to me. It's still weird to me. Like, it's fascinating to hear that article was not just playing it up, because I thought it was like clickbait. I'm like, no one freaking cares. Who cares? But apparently you guys really did. I think you're all weirdos. But obviously I'm the weird one. Gypsy Art said, I'm wrong. There's also the Black Cauldron. I can rewatch that anytime. I don't know what that one is. Dragonfly15 said, I noticed that you often use hot press paper for your watercolors. What determines whether one should use hot press versus cold press for watercolor? For me, I'm very inexperienced with watercolor and I don't have hot press in the size that I wanted. So like I'm working on a piece right now, a fox, and it's got like a door that's been spray painted. And so it's, I don't know, there's just a lot of vivid colors there. I'm going to go back over it with colored pencil. So I wanted smooth so that the colored pencil worked better. Plus I don't have the cold press. I need to do some work in cold press. I think I'm going to like cold press a lot more in watercolor than I do the hot press. I suspect. I could be wrong. We'll see. But it just behaves a little bit different. But honestly, I'm not experienced enough to really pinpoint the exact, like everything for you yet. In the future, I will be able to, but I need to do some more work with cold press too and really see where I feel one is stronger than the other. And right now, I don't feel like I'm experienced enough to give that information. Paul said, rank Aurora, Ariel, Cinderella, Alice, Elsa. Is that your rank or should I rank it? Which one was Aurora? She was the Sleeping Beauty, or I don't even remember which one she was. So she gets moved to the bottom. Or maybe she's above Elsa. I don't know. I would say Ariel, Alice, Cinderella, and then the Elsa and Aurora. I don't really have an opinion on one way or another. Like, I think in part, the Aurora one, whichever one that was, I think that was Sleeping Beauty, wasn't it? I never really got super into that one. Whatever one she's in, I just never, or was she the heroine? Or the I don't know. But Elsa, that's so after my time that I never really got attached to it. Now, Lilo should be in there. Lilo would be up towards the top. It would be like Lilo, Ariel. Lilo would be the top. Janine said, I also have back issues and I'm searching for a chair. What kind of chair do you have? I need a dentist chair with black and an armrest. So it depends on your back. That's the weird. So back pain is weird because everyone is going to be a bit different on what you can and can't do. Like what works great for one person may be the very worst thing in the world for me. It depends. So with me, I do need something with cushion. I can't sit on a really firm, like a wood bench. I can't sit on that for very long. That really messes with my arthritis. But this one's a cushiony. It's kind of like a doctor. Actually, I think that's what it's normally sold for, is a doctor's chair. It's a stool so you can go up or down a little bit. It's got a ring around the bottom that I'm sticking my feet on right now. But I also will sit on a Pilates ball. I am suspecting my Pilates ball, because I've been having problems with it. I think it's a little bit too, it's good for the height of my keyboard, but I think it's just too flat for, like, I think I need to go a size up. So I've been sitting on just a normal, like, back chair, one of the teal ones that's next to my fish tank in there. But the problem with those is I tend to slouch, and I see as I do it right now, I hurt. So I think that's sitting slouched is what's caused my problem. Wow, that's actually exactly where the pain is. Huh, look at that. Okay, so I have to go back to good posture, but it depends on what your specific problem is. Like I said, a Pilates ball normally is really good for me. I've done well with this stool that I'm sitting on right now. I don't do well if there's an arm on it because I'm more likely to lean on it, or a back, same thing. I'm more likely to slouch. The Black Cauldron was a Disney movie, had the Horned King and Magic Pig named Hinwen. I don't know if I saw that. Paul said, why are contemporary chairs displayed in galleries expensive than from IKEA? I don't know. I didn't even know that was a thing. I don't do that much shopping for furniture and stuff. Like, I just bought what I needed for my house, and then I don't buy more. Like, I'm not one who typically upgrades furniture or something. I'm like, I own it. I will own you forever. I don't care if the styles change. Actually, does anyone, total random thing, find it a little bit weird. I've been going through this thing, just thinking about how weird and wasteful some of the upgrades we do to our houses are. So you get these things that come up, like TikTok type videos and such, where someone is renovating a bathroom, and it shows the bathroom and it looks perfectly nice. Like it's not, I understand renovating if you have a pink bathtub. Like I can see where you're like, that pink bathtub is just, Pepto-Bismol pink is just, I don't like that. It's driving me crazy. Or like the green bathtubs or the colored bathtubs. Some people love them, but I can understand where someone's like, okay, I want to take this out and replace it with tile or something that's a little bit more high end. I get that. What I don't get is somebody taking out a perfectly good stone or granite countertop and replacing it with a different stone or granite countertop. That, I just don't understand the wastefulness. And I've been watching some of these videos, these TikTok type things where people do upgrades to their homes, and it's, well, upgrade. You're making it different, but not necessarily better. And it's more like, this is because it's trendy and in style. Like when I chose all the finishings, when I chose everything for my house, it was a big deal for me that things were a little bit more timeless and not trendy. So like they'll have these gold or brass faucets. Nope. Brushed nickel is fine for me. I don't know gold anything. I get where people like the look of it. I just don't totally get the spending money, or just seems like such a waste of resources. But the changing one granite countertop for another color of granite countertop, I'm like, it wasn't damaged. It was perfectly good. Why are you doing that? I can see painting your cabinets if you want a new look. I get that. Some of this stuff, though, I'm watching these videos, taking a perfectly good, and I don't mean dated like a pink bathtub, a black, have you ever seen a black toilet? Weird. How could you see if it was clean? That one creeps me out. One of my doctor's offices had, the chiropractor actually had that. I think they replaced it, though. That I kind of get, but, well, I absolutely get. I don't get watching some of these. They're like, we're going to completely demolish a perfectly good, actually cute, change the paint color if you need, but like weird, the stuff that it seems so wasteful. I don't even know how I got off on that tangent. But yeah, all of these little upgrades that people are doing on their homes, I don't understand some of them. Let's see. Paul said, just watch the Twister movie and it's laughable. I haven't seen that in years. I remember liking it. I don't know if it's still good. Let's see. Nick said, you may want to take a pulse on the dogs. They haven't moved in 30 minutes. Can you see Wade's head? Yeah, you guys can see. It's funnier from my angle, or my view. If I stand up, though, it might. Oh, no. Gibbs is looking at me. Yeah, your eyeballs are moving. So I'm watching. Kinda. The greyhounds are the laziest dogs. They go from super hyper, zooming around the yard like insane. They'll do that for 30 seconds, and then this is what you get the rest of the day. Let's see. Natalie said, mid-back pain, broad class level. I've got to have a back support because I slouched. So I got, and it worked, one of mine, I hold, and I guess it's common with fibromyalgia, we tend to hold our shoulders forward. We kind of, it feels better at that time, but it really messes with your back. And that one of the things was to start holding even that. Oh, that feels good. I need to do that more. Pushing your shoulders back and holding them back. And I got this brace thing on Amazon of all places that you wear like over a t-shirt or whatever, and it holds your shoulders back just to get in the habit. Like it made me more aware every time I'd start to slouch. That helped me. I had to wear that for a couple of weeks to get out of the habit. I remember that was back at my old apartment. I had gotten really bad about this. So I know that those, just from experience, that certainly can help. But yeah, mid-back pain. Right now, I'm mid-back. I'm like right in the middle of my back from the way I was slouching. But normally mine's the upper back and neck, or it's the very, very bottom of like almost my rear. So low in my back that normally gets me. So my issues are not going to be quite the same as what you're dealing with. So I don't want to give you bad advice. Paul said, okay, got that one. Claudia said, I'll practice on this paper using light layering technique, not stressing too much on the result, and then I'll invest in good professional paper. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like the price of the paper you paid makes me think it's probably not amazing because, you do get what you pay for to an extent, although I have used cheap paper and it was good. Actually, if you want to try, do I have any in here? A paper that is cheap, it's lightweight, which I don't love, but I get really good results, and like it's the perfect tooth, so I do wish it was a bit heavier. Let me see if I've got it in here. that's not it. There it is. Is this the right one? Yeah. So this is the Strathmore drawing paper. Ow, my back hates me. But the Strathmore drawing, this is fairly inexpensive. I want to say under $10 when I got it at most art supply stores, sometimes like $7. And the tooth on this, the medium, the tooth on this is really, it just works well. It's 80 pounds, so it's lighter weight. You have to be careful with it. It's, you know, easy enough to tear and such, but I really do, I've had good results, like really good results on this paper. So if you're looking for a cheaper paper to work with colored pencils, I've got to say I like that one. I don't use it on my work because it is lighter weight and it's just too easy to rip. So if you're careful, it's fine, but you know, you have to be careful. So that is actually decent paper. Now, I also want to point out Strathmore makes a colored pencil paper, one of the worst pencil papers. It's horrible. They clearly didn't when they designed it. I don't think they tested it with colored pencil artists, which was stupid. Like Derwent, this is one of the things I love about Derwent. Fungus gnat just flew by. Derwent, with their colored pencils and their products, they actually send their products to professional artists and are like, hey, can you try this product? You know, it's a non-disclosure that you can't share. Like if I've tried any of them, I can't let you know. But they'll send it to artists and be like, try this out and fill out this form. We want your feedback on what you like, what you didn't like, what should be improved, whatever. And they do that regularly. And different artists. It's not like they just use the same artist, so they're in a bubble or anything like that. They spread that out. Strathmore did not do that with their colored pencil paper. There's no way they could have. There go the frogs. Their colored pencil paper is horrible. So when you go shopping and you see this, oh, big colored pencil, no, just get this one instead if you're going for a cheaper paper. But that was one of the worst papers I've used. It was so bad. Paul John said, I'm an engineer, Lisa. Stop discouraging them to be content with what they have. That's our job to renovate stuff. That's awesome. See, I don't know. I'm like, I look at stuff. Do you ever go through those phases where you're just like, half the stuff I've bought lately from the store came in plastic. Why do we need this much? Why is everything in plastic? And I go through like these phases where I'm like, should I really even buy it? Like, why do everything I have isn't like, there's just so much. And yeah, you go through these little like self-aware, I guess, moments, but the renovating and everything, I get some of it, but some of it, man, I do not understand. Like it seems so wasteful. I wonder if they reuse, like the granite countertop ones really get me. I get new cabinets if the cabinets were damaged, but like so much, there are a lot of birds in my backyard right now. So often it seems like, just fix it. You could just fix it. Let's see. Eo said, my childhood home had a chocolate brown tub, toilet, and sink. It was so weird when we went through this phase where everything were these really weird colors. But see, that's what I mean by the trendy thing. So like I said, when I bought my house, I didn't want something trendy. Like my floors, I wanted the tile floors because for cleaning purposes, when you have this many animals, you want to be able to clean that. Carpet and the fish tanks and it's just, I spill water, I would say 5, 6, 7 times a day. My carpet would, after 2 years, be absolutely, gosh, after a month would look horrible. So I'm not a carpet fan. But the floors in here, they had one color. So my colors that I really like are gray and teal right now. That's like my home decor, what most things fall in that. But I didn't want to go, they have these gray floors, they're wood look tile. They were beautiful, like these pale gray, and I love them. But the problem with that is it's too trendy. Like it's one of those, it doesn't feel as timeless. It seems like the lighter wood, like your more traditional wood, or in my case, I went with the darkest wood they had. The dark is definitely more like that will go with most decor. So that's what I was looking for, like fixtures with everything we went with. It was like, I just want more basic countertop. That was a big one. I was surprised at some of the countertops. One of them, it was like because I originally wanted white granite. I wanted, what was it, granite, and the other one is There are two. One of them's a man-made stone. Why can't I think of the word right now? My brain is not working today. Granite and, shoot, not marble. It looked like marble. I don't know, whatever it was. Oh, wow, my brain is really not working today. Oh, Elena. Was that the name of the girl on Vampire Diaries? Like, that's how far behind my brain is from the conversation. L something. Anyway, the stone types, one of the stones that you could choose, because we got to choose like all the colors and stuff, it was a white or cream type of stone, but it had red veining all through it. And I'm thinking, that is a bad idea for a home to like such a bold color. That's not going to work for everybody, and somebody's going to move in and now they're going to be like, I'm just getting rid of this countertop and putting in something more neutral. So we tried to keep everything like anything that was going to be more permanent, like the floors, the countertops, more neutral tones. Let's see. Said, okay, I got that one. Yeah, this is Lux archival paper, sanded paper I'm using today. Artistic Flower. Serving Artist Collective said, do you feel better about Winsor & Newton's watercolor pro markers still being available? If so, see another piece with them? Yeah, I'm going to look more into that. I haven't watched Lindsay's video, but I know a couple of you guys contacted me and they're like, it's supposed to be the same thing. They just rebranded. I'm like, that's amazing. I'm excited if that is really the case, and there's no reason for, like, obviously Lindsay's not going to lie. I just haven't even looked into it at all, but that's really exciting because I liked those markers. So yeah, I'm going to have to see about that. Claudia said, I'm more in the practice training period, but I do plan to start selling my art in a couple of months, and I think it would be suitable to sell on a good quality paper. Yeah, and I would, obviously then, I think it's worth investing the money. So let's say, one of the things that I remember when my students commenting, because at the time I liked the Faber Artistico. So one sheet, I don't know what it goes for now, and I don't use that paper now because they changed it. But back then, one sheet was maybe $5 to $10, but I broke it up into 4 11 by 14 inch sheets. So I would get like a 5-pack for $20 or $30. I don't even remember. I'm just throwing this out there. But I'm like, okay, let's say your single sheet of paper costs $5 versus $5 for a full pad. If you're going to spend weeks to months on one piece, which is what these students were doing, it's like, why that $5 isn't so bad now. It's better to work on the good paper if you're going to be spending more time on the work. But for quicker stuff, I would definitely, like a smaller sketch or whatever, sketchbooks would definitely be the way to go. But I will say the Strathmore drawing paper, I would not hesitate to sell my work on it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You just, I would mat it and frame it, or not mat it, or frame it, but I would mat it, put a board behind it before I sent it to somebody. But that is acid-free and archival. That is perfectly safe to sell your work on. But again, it's a lighter weight, more likely to have damage. But I've sold plenty of work on that over the years. Corian? Wait, what were we talking about? I don't know what that is. I'm sorry, Nick. My brain's already gone. Hey, I'm an hour in and I'm still here, so I'm impressed. But, oh no, the countertops. No, it's granite or, hold on, let's just do this, because the first Google search that will come up right now, if I do, I'm going to laugh because it's going to be so stupid and so easy. Granite versus quartz. Yep, I knew that there was something super easy. Yeah. And maybe they're the same. I don't know if that's another word for it, but so we did the one that has the man-made, so there is some resin, I believe, in it. I don't know, it makes it more, whatever. The point is, when we went for that, I was surprised to see one of the options having that much red in it, like, go neutral. Like, I even was a little bit hesitant, with the gray tones too. We went with a gray, but it had to be a neutral gray. I don't want warm, I don't want cool. Make it everything neutral. Like, I may prefer, and there were some of those colors as we're looking at those, like there was one where the countertops were almost black and it was beautiful, but I'm like, oh, that's a bit harsh for like resale purposes. Somebody's going to be like, I don't know, that's some dark countertops. Yeah, kitchen countertops, Paul. Paul said, oh yeah, I so love those graphite gray stone-like tiles. I think it looks modernistic, yeah. And these ones are more, these colors are just a dark brown. And it's funny, because, well, she had bad eyesight. She did admit to that. But we had a friend come over a few months back. They brought their corgi puppy. Anyway, And she was shocked because she'd been in here for a couple of hours and we were talking about house stuff or whatever. And I said the tile floors. She's like, these are tile. She thought they were wood. Like they look really good. Now again, she has really bad eyes, so that's part of it. But it's very easy to clean. Okay, where are we? I think I'm gonna leave him alone. Let's go and at least start getting the layers on these guys over here. He's not done. I think that'll be the last day type thing where we come and do a few touch-ups. Natalie said I just ordered a chair and one of those posture correcting things because I do roll my shoulders. I hope that works for you. It really did make a big difference for me. But then again, like you have to be careful with any okay, back that story up a little bit. Back when I was a teenager, so they didn't realize I had ankylosing spondylitis. That is something that pops up in your late teens, early 20s, that type of arthritis. But they're thinking you're young, there's no way it's arthritis. So when I started having, I was a teenager when my right wrist was the first symptom, that and my lower back. But we thought I hurt my lower back in gymnastics, and then it made sense. It's like that shouldn't have hurt it though. The thing that it was doing was it doing a front handspring? And I pulled something. That was my first experience of my back being really bad. And I was 16 at the time, 17. So anyway, it didn't even cross anyone's mind that it would be a type of arthritis. So when my wrist started about the same time, this wrist, oh my God, it was bad. I used to play volleyball too. And when that hit, like I couldn't hit the ball. You don't want to do that with arthritis. But anyway, they kept saying it was carpal tunnel. That's the only thing that made sense to them. And they were thinking because I played violin. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I don't practice violin. I do not practice enough to cause carpal tunnel. I am terrible about that. So anyway, let's scooch you over. Move you a little bit. There we go. We're just going to get some ugly base layers on the jellyfish now. I don't know if I should do the jellyfish or we've got Glitch here. We've got Murky, Captain Cookie, and Glitch all in one photos. But anyway, they gave me a wrist brace. Well, it turned out that restraining my movement in my wrist was the absolute worst thing they could have done for me, and they made it worse. And it got to the point where this was about the range of motion. You should be able to move your wrist however you want. It was like that. It solidified it because I wasn't moving it because I kept wearing that stupid brace, and I wore it for years because they kept saying that it was going to help. They kept insisting, the doctors, that I needed it. So, and back then, they didn't do the test. Whatever test they did on my mom recently, they did not do on me. They just made the assumption. So I don't know if that's just a difference in time that medically our technology's gotten further. I'm not sure why that was. But they kept just wear the brace, just wear the brace. I had some I bought myself. I had the ones they gave me. There were multiples that I tried. It made it way, way worse. And so once we realized it was arthritis and the doctor showed me the exercises, I had to break it up. It's like everything had just solidified into one mass, so there was no movement. So yeah, as much as I'm like, that brace works, be careful, just be aware. It depends on what's causing it, if that's going to be helpful. I'm obviously not a doctor, so not medical advice, but those were just some of my experiences. Okay. Artistic Flower, what art pieces do you like that you have done? I have a flamingo. It's actually above the little office area in the kitchen that my husband uses. There was a flamingo with bees. That one is, I think I've done a couple flamingos with bees, but it was an acrylic painting, a big round one. Is probably one of my favorites. I've got a tiger up here. Really loving the orangutan recently. I don't know if I have a favorite. Probably that flamingo. And I think the reason that I like that flamingo so much, I really like that zebra back there with the bees too. Anything with bees apparently, but my brain shut down again. This is getting to be, my sea turtles. I have 2 sea turtles swimming at you. That's probably my favorite right now. Oh, no, my lion with the coral mane. The coral and then the fish, he's going to be number 1 for sure. Let's see. Paul said, are you a fan of ramp sink or just the typical one? I don't know what a ramp sink is. I have a normal sink, but I think it was because that's how I'm used to doing dishes and being able to I know the house sink that a lot of people have. My neighbor has it. It was funny because we would go in to see other people's houses in the neighborhood as they're being built, and he was laughing. He's like, well, they did all these upgrades, but they didn't upgrade the sink. And I'm like, I didn't upgrade my sink either. I like just the plain basic, I want it split in the middle so I can defrost dog food on one side while I still can use the sink on the other side. Or the way that I do dishes, I don't know, it may just be an old people thing. That's how all our sinks were, and so that's what I'm used to using. So that's what we went with. But my neighbor has the big farmhouse sink, which is cool for it to be big. It just seems not practical for how I would personally use it. It's beautiful. I think it looks better, the farmhouse sinks, but I'm not sure what the ramp one is. Francina said, have you ever thought about wearing a corset to help with your back? I wear one, it helps me not to slouch. So that's the thing with me. I was looking into them. I really want one, and I could just I think corsets they're just gorgeous. But I was looking into that before I lost all the weight, because that was part of what I needed the help for. Now I'm like, oh, I'll just lose the weight and I don't need it so much now. But I had been looking into those, and I think it would make it far worse, because even wearing jeans, like I'm wearing jeans right now, and that restricts my movement enough, and they're not super tight, but that restricts my movement enough that it makes my back worse. And when I've worn the body shape, like the things, they're like a tank top, a body shaper tank top, that will actually cause problems for me. Anything on my lower back that holds it still causes a lot of issues. I have to be able to move constantly and constantly break up where my back keeps trying to fuse together. So I don't think the corset would work very well for me. And I did look into it, and I've considered it, and they're kind of expensive to get a good one. But, and then figuring out the fitting, I didn't end up buying one. But considering that I have a problem with, like, if I wear jeans too much versus something that's more stretchy and allows more movement, I notice a definite difference there. So I don't think the corset in my case would be the best choice. I could be wrong, because I haven't actually tried it, but just given some other factors, I'm like, I don't think that would work. I want them to, because I think they're beautiful, but Paul said, wait, what? Those braces are not helpful? Wow. Well, they can be. It depends. In my case, because I don't have carpal tunnel. If you have carpal tunnel, absolutely. You want to keep it still. But for me, with the type of arthritis I have, if I'm held too still, it causes more problems. I'm better off the more I move, the better I am. So like some people, if they have a bad back, if they go on a walk, it's going to make it way worse. For me, when my back goes out, the best thing I can do is get up and just walk constantly, keep moving, keep working it out. So and my back, the type of arthritis I have is more rare than what most people have. So I'm not saying it's super, super rare, like people have ankylosing spondylitis, but it's far less common than other back issues people have. So when I give someone advice like this is what helped me, it may not work on somebody else. I mean, obviously good posture is going to be good for most people. So, holding your shoulders back or at a healthy place is good. But yeah, for me, because I didn't have carpal tunnel, that brace was the wrong choice. For someone with carpal tunnel, absolutely, but not in my case. Natalie said, doctors have no idea what's causing it. Physio said they can feel a bone spur pressing into my nerves. It's been 6 years, but strengthening the muscles around the shoulders help. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry you're going through that. Paul said, true, farmhouse sinks are the rage right now. Yeah, and they look nice. They just aren't, they're not, actually, let's get some of these dark areas in with the orange. They're not practical for how I use my kitchen, I guess. And I'm not sure if that's one I would call trendy versus not. I imagine that's something that a lot of people will like more long term. I don't know. Oh my gosh, I'm starting finally on the last pieces. I am so looking forward to this piece being done. Our next one is going to be like a 2-week, 3-week max. We're on what, week 14 or some crazy number? I don't even know what number it is anymore. Gabby said, hi, Lachri, you finally started the concert painting. You might have chosen a picture with a little too much detail, but it will be a fun challenge. It's awesome. Yay. The good thing is with stuff that has too much detail or seems like it has too much detail, takes a long time, but it is so much easier to make that look good. Like I'm working on one right now with a fox. I just started, I designed it a few weeks ago, but I started drawing it, or actually painting last night. And there's so much involved, and it's like, yeah, but when I make a mistake, it is not nearly as obvious. Holy crap, Kaneho, hi, and thank you for the super chat. Aw, we'll message you my comments. Oh God, I probably don't want to know. I don't have it yet. We'll see. See, Kaneho, some of you guys may remember Kaneho he's been around my channel since the very beginning. And people don't get his sense of humor all the time, and they think he's being really mean and really rude to me, but he's actually kind of hilarious. But people don't realize it. So anyway, he's behaving and says he'll message me the comment because people are like, that's so mean. said, have you thought about what type of painting to put above your reef tank? I want sea turtles again for sure. I'm thinking sea turtles, probably orcas or dolphins. I'm thinking orcas just because the contrast with the black and the white I think will stand out really good in the dark because it's kind of dark in that corner. I know what I want to do. I just need to like plan it out and get it done. Although I've had some other ideas lately for underwater scenes which are a little bit more urban. So it's like sunk buildings, like tunnels and such that have tagging all over, but they're underwater. Like I found a bunch of photos when I was looking for the stuff for the fox that I really want to do. Hold on. I'm going to read this. Conejo's being mean, but not really. Yeah, so I've got word filters. His problem is the word filters filter out a lot of words he uses because they're like usually used by people who are being trolls, but that's just Conejo. And so he had to message me his mean words that would have gotten filtered. It's not even bad. I think like voice is one of the words that is filtered just because that's such a common thing. People complaining they hate my voice. I'm like, what is there? I had a lady the other day. It was like 2 days ago, comment on one of my videos on how the video could have been helpful, but she can't stand how shrill my voice is. Shrill, and what else did she say? And my comment was like, wow, and my shrill voice was hurting her ears, and I'm like, well, your rude comments are hurting my eyes. Are you always this pleasant? So yeah. Let's see. Karina said, hi, Al, I'm sort of awake at 3 a.m. Oh my gosh, go back to sleep. I'm going to sleep. It's almost 3 p.m. Oh, we're about 12 hours off. I'll be taking a nap as soon as this is done. Artistic Flower said, what advice would you give to beginners? Let's see. Don't expect too much too soon. You are going to be painting and drawing some ugly things when you get started, and that is no indication of how amazing you can be if you keep up with it. People have this tendency to believe that art is something that you're either born with, that it's a natural gift. That is all bull. That is not true. You get good at art because you practice it. That's like saying that being a doctor is a natural gift. No, you go to school and you learn how to be a doctor. You take classes and you study and you study and you study and you go without sleep and you work your butt off. That's how you become a good doctor. And hopefully don't give someone a carpal tunnel brace for ankylosing spondylitis. Whatever. But if you are wanting to get good at something, you have to go through stages where your work is terrible. It's natural. It's a part of the process. You want to pay attention to what you're doing. There's so many sayings out there that are supposed to be like motivational for artists, and I think that they do more damage than good. Things like, let's see if I can think of a few. We've got, don't ever compare your work to another artist's. That is great advice if you never want to improve. If you want to improve, you go find an artist whose work looks like what you want yours, more like what your goals are, and you figure out what is different between theirs and yours. That is a huge help. The biggest steps I have made in my career is looking at somebody who I felt was more skilled or better than me and figured out what exactly is making their work more what I want mine to look like. Is it their values, their contrast? Actually, it's all those things. Their design, their concept, their whatever. Pinpoint it. You can't just look at somebody's art and go, oh, they're so good. I'm never going to be that good. Emo. That won't work. What you want to do instead is look at it and figure out what are they doing differently than what I'm doing, and then make those changes on your work. But comparing your work to another artist is a good thing if you do it right. So that's key. But there's a lot of stuff out there like this is just my style. That's an excuse not to improve. I see a lot of women making memes like that on the internet of if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. Or you could just stop being a crappy human. You could work on yourself. But I think it's the same with art. We get into this mindset, or this, where is red? Why can I not find red? We get into this mindset of this is as good as it's going to get. This is as good as I'm going to be. And then I'm just going to say it's my style. That's an excuse. Now, if that is your style, because that's what you wanted your style to be, that's one thing. That's totally different and totally fine. But so often when I was teaching, I would have people come in and do the whole, well, this is my style. And you have to ask the questions. Is it your style because you like that style? Or is it your style because you don't know how to do anything else? Well, it's because I can't do it. Okay, well, which do you prefer? Well, I would like it to be more realistic. Well, then let's work on that. Like, you don't dismiss things as style that are really just lack of working on your skill or your technique. Me playing everything out of key on violin is not my style. That's me not practicing. There's you need to be aware of that difference. And then going back to the whole, you're born with it or you're not born with it. No, it is not true. And so you'll have some people that will be discouraging to you, like, oh, you're not very good, or that, like, you weren't gifted and born with it. God, there's so much crap on the internet. Most of the stuff you see on the internet, and they're like, here's this child, they just were born and able to paint. Well, that story isn't true. Most of those stories aren't true. This person's able to draw this photorealistic thing from memory. If they're doing that, it's because they've drawn from photograph or from life that same subject so many times that they've just kind of committed it to memory like that. It wasn't something they looked at it once and then instantly remembered and didn't need a reference photo ever again. That's not how that works. Most of these little feel-good stories about how amazing this specific artist is and they're doing something that's different than you, I think it makes artists think, well, I'm not very good because I can't do that. I didn't start off at 4 years old able to draw these photorealistic things. Those are bull. Most of those stories are not true or not giving you the whole story. It's like all the animal videos we see out there. I watched a video. Let's use this as an example. There's a video that went viral of these people who went and adopted or bought a pig. And they go into the thing and they're telling you the pig is in a birthing box. Like, it's a birthing type box. It's a metal one. But what happens when they breed pigs, they hurt their babies when they're born. And so they'll keep them in a pen that keeps the baby safe. This reduces mortality rates, keeps everyone safe. They're in there for like 6 weeks max. They're not in there for very long. I'm not saying that's a fun 6 weeks, but that max. And if a farmer even keeps them that way. But this video tried to make it sound like this pig has spent her whole life in this box. And you're looking at the pig going, that pig's perfectly healthy. There's no way she's been in there for that's not true. You're lying to get views and sympathy because it's something that people are going to be horrified by that idea. Like, if I thought that pig was in there, oh my God, pig's perfectly healthy. We're going to get her home and cleaned up because she's dirty. Because she's a pig and she's been outside rolling in the dirt because that's what pigs do. They get dirt. That's not an indication. This pig clearly was a healthy pig. So they take her home and they're doing this whole video of, this is her first sunset. She's never seen a sunset before. She's never touched dirt before. And it's all, I'm trying not to swear and I'm going to fail because it annoys me. They make these videos and it makes you feel that something is a certain way, and it's a lie for views, because if you lie about something, it's easier to get views about certain things. And they do this with artists a lot. Whether it be a meme that you're like, yeah, here's an excuse for me to stay, to where I'm at or whatever. This isn't in my control. I can't get better because I wasn't born like this 4-year-old or whatever it is. In most of those cases, like, let's talk about the cases of, you'll see a 6-year-old who's painting and drawing better than most adults. Yeah, because they've been working on it for a very long time. Are they abnormally gifted in this or good at this? Yes, but they've been practicing. This wasn't they picked up the pencil one day and were perfect. They will tell you that's what happened in the stories, but that is not what happened. Even if you go with, let's say, a child prodigy of a violin, you do have some people who just pick up on something and they tend to be better than others. What they don't tell you, because I've worked with some of these prodigies when I grew up in the Claremont Youth Symphony, or playing in the Claremont Youth Symphony Orchestra and high, oh God, what else did I play in? I don't know, a bunch of orchestras. And we had the opportunity to have a soloist come in who was a child prodigy. What they're not telling you is that prodigy is practicing 8 to 10 hours a day. I mean, they practice that violin non-stop. Would I be as good if I practiced that many hours? Probably not. But I'd still be good. They're not giving you the whole picture. We use these words and we use these terms to make it sound like somebody was just born a certain way. They're not. What they don't show you is how much work is going into getting to that point. And these videos that go viral are usually bull and they're absolute lies. And everybody's like, no, it's true. No, it's not. God, half the videos I've seen about greyhounds and trying to make this sad story. She's never had the freedom to play. You've never been to a farm that has greyhounds, because trust me, those dogs are playing and free and happy and have amazing lives. This idea that racing greyhounds are abused, maybe in some areas of the world, not here in the U.S., or not now in the U.S., I should say. I'm sure there was a time period when people did not great things, but it hasn't been that way for a very long time. They like to make these videos to pull on your heartstrings or to get an emotional response, and they do that with arts. So why am I comparing art and animal videos? To point out they lie. They lie in these viral videos for the sole purpose of getting those views. And so when you see these people who are like, oh, this person was born with this gift. No, they weren't. They're not telling you about the amount of hours of practice that went into getting good. So why does that matter? Because you can do it too. If you are willing to put in the work, you can be just as amazing as somebody else. And this is something that beginners, I think, really need to understand and be excited about. If you want to be amazing, great. You're going to be bad for a while. That child prodigy did not start out sounding good on violin, but they got amazing because they put so much work into it. So those would be my tips. Yes, talent is a pursued interest. Bob Ross, absolutely. Let's see. Scrolling up. Paul said, I'm not excited with the new Matrix movie. How about you? I am. I watched the preview last night. I'm excited. We're going to do a Matrix. My husband and I will have a little Matrix marathon before we go watch that. I'm excited. But I like Keanu Reeves. And it's so funny. I talk about bad actors. He's the one bad actor I love for the fact that he's like, that's just him. And he's just a nice guy and he plays with puppies and he's just, I like him. So yeah, that's part of why I'm excited. It's like John Wicks. Not Wicks. From the future. Anyway, Kathy M said, really love the circle canvas in the background. I should get some, maybe some fish eye perspectives. That would be really cool. I love circle canvases. Those are, the Frederick's Convexo canvases are my favorite because they've got these beveled edges. Oh, they're so nice. I have to put a couple coats of gesso and sand them to get them to a smooth finish, but they're nice. Hobby Artist said, hi Lisa, it's interesting that your back hurts when you slouch. I've been slouching since grade school and my back hurts when I try sitting straight for any longer than 10 to 15 minutes. You got yours out of practice. But see, that's the thing with backs. Mine's a very specific problem. I have ankylosing spondylitis. So it's a very, like, I have to have really good posture and I have to move a lot. So those are like the best two things I can do for mine, which sucks. Because I also have fibromyalgia, which means I don't want to move a lot. I want to nap a lot. I'm very tired, but my back's like, nope. Not for you. I mean, I nap, but not as much as I'd like to. Let's see. Dee said, same with my back issues. More movement is better. I am sad for people who have the opposite. I know of a lot of people who the more they move, the more pain they're in. And I'm like, okay, for once I will be appreciative of what I have because, well, I shouldn't say for once, but I would definitely rather be able to move more. I need a cooler pink like you. You will work. When SGWW said, I'm loving the large project in small increments. Thank you. Unfortunately, I don't think most do because my views on these videos have plummeted. Like they're like half what they should be. I think I just dragged it out too long. So maybe more small increments, but not this big of a project. Like this was a lot. Hold on, I have to change that. Where are we? Natalie Bug said, that is the exact reason I didn't practice art when I was younger, despite wanting to, even as teachers, ingrained that being born an artist mindset to me. Teachers. So you guys, those of you with the whole teacher rant that agree with me on that, will like next Thursday's video, because I've got making some, I don't know, I think I'm hilarious, but about teachers or art teachers, but it drives me crazy. These art teachers they do so much damage. You may have like 15 good art teachers in this country, like at high school level or college level. The rest are crap. Those of you who are good art teachers, please reproduce more of yourself. Like, can you clone yourselves? We need more of you. Because they're out there. Good freaking luck finding them. The amount of misinformation that comes from so-called teachers, that whether they discourage, I had one in high school. I wanted to get my work in the fair, the state fair. So we had the LA County Fair, was like one city over. It was in Pomona, California. And I wanted to look into getting that. So I went and I tracked down this teacher and I asked her between classes and she dismissed me saying, it's almost impossible to get your work into that. Well, thanks. You get so much bad. Well, she was a that woman should not have been around kids or been allowed around kids. She was a bitter woman. I don't know what happened in her life or what, but I think she had been teaching for way too many years, and oh, she made sure you knew she was not happy to be there. Didn't help you with things when you'd ask for help. Like, she was just terrible. She just give you a bad grade without telling you why. Like, I took my first art class. Now, the good thing was I learned to shade. I didn't know I was supposed to shade. I'd never taken an art class before. This was, I think, my freshman year, sophomore year in high school, something like that. So I took that class, and I remember drawing a horse. I was really good at horses. I was like, I'm going to get a good grade. I tried so hard on this, but I didn't shade. I didn't know what shading was. She gave me an F without, like, there was no instruction. Like, you didn't tell us to you didn't show us how to shade. You didn't do anything. So it must have been my freshman year. So yeah, she was terrible, terrible. I had to have other students. There was a guy, I remember his name was Jeremy, this bigger guy. He taught me how to shade so that I could pass the class, because she sure as heck wasn't helping me. And I got a C in that class because I had failed so much before somebody was like, this is what she wants. Why didn't she tell me that? I didn't know that was a thing. Shading? I'd never shaded anything before. So yeah, she was horrible. But that seems to be, I hear that a lot. Like, you wouldn't believe how many times I hear, I don't want this one. How many times I hear from people that they learned more from one of my videos, or that they learned more from like just a couple weeks of my art classes when I used to teach in person than they did in 4 years of college, 4 years of college art classes. I hear this and get comments about that all the freaking time. And it drives me crazy. These teachers have a tendency to discourage people more than not. And it's so like, why are you doing this job? You're giving bad advice, and that advice discourages people. Like, I don't know if it's, one of the things I've seen a lot, where is my powder blender? My powder blender and my sponges. I need to pay attention to what I'm looking for right now. Where did I put it? Oh, and I'm missing things. I'm missing like the whole little, okay, it's gotta be over here somewhere. My little container, it's probably in front of me and I am just not seeing it. What is this? Okay, itchy eye. 1 second. Oh my gosh, itchy eye. And I still don't know where my little sponges are. It's definitely in front of me and I'm not seeing it. Like, that's the only, wow, I did lose them. What the heck? Oh wait, you could probably fit. You're clean and new. Let me just switch. I'm having to improvise because the tool that I want is, oh, I'll just flip you over. That'll work. I don't know where they are. They're under a bunch of stuff. I found them. It's not going to be easy to get to, so we're just going to flip this over and reuse this one. Anyway, no, these teachers, like, one of the things that people will have a certain tool, oh crap, and use that tool completely wrong and teach their students this is the use of that tool. And you're like, I get that your teacher gave you bad information, but if you, like, so many of these, okay, let me back that up now that I'm focusing. Most of these art teachers are not artists themselves. I'm not sure how they got into being an art teacher. They think they're an artist. They don't produce any art. They don't draw. They don't paint hardly at all. Or if they do, it's that, well, this is just my style, because they never actually learned how to do anything decent. So that is so common with a lot of these art teachers, and yet they're now turning around and giving bad advice that discourages someone from moving forward in art, because they're like, oh no, you either have it or you don't, or you're born with it or you're not. No, you're not. You work for it or you don't. That is the distinguishing factor. Will someone work hard enough to improve their skills or not? That's what will make you an artist or not an artist. Where is my thing? But you have a lot of these, now I lost my powder blender. Jeez, I am missing everything over here right now. That should be right in here. Apparently I'm gonna need to clean my studio tonight. I have dog, this is funny, because I always put them in my pockets when I walk them and come out. I have just a ton of dog poo bags, and they're clean. Just sitting in my art thing. No wonder I can't find anything. They're covering everything. Colored pencil titanium white, colored pencil titanium white. Where is the powder blender? What in the world have I done with you? Powder blender, where did you go? Hi, did you? Oh, is this gonna be under everything too? Like, this is a mess. Like, I found the one thing I wanted, and now I can't find the other thing I wanted. Hold on. Wow, I really did lose it. Huh. Guess I can get a new one out. I'm going to have to open a new one because how did I lose it? Like, it's always right here. So weird. But anyway, moving on. Most of these teachers that I've seen of in these colleges do not paint or draw themselves often enough. It's like they're just regurgitating what they were taught. Not like info-wise, but not because they've tried any of these skills or know what they're taught. They're just making like, well, like here's one. How many of you in high school or college were told you could just use hairspray to seal your graphite or charcoal drawings? I know I was. No, you can't. That's not archival. Yeah, sure. They did it in the 50s. Well, the formula changes. If something's not meant for art, it's not going, you don't know if it's going to stay, like even if it was archival at one point, if they change that formula because they just need to make it safe for your hair and for, you know, your skin and stuff. They don't care if it's archival. So you don't want to be using something like that. And they have absolutely changed those formulas. Do not use hairspray. I don't care if your teacher from the 50s said it was fine. Ooh, I was all shaken up. So brand new powder blender. But that sort of thing happens so often with a lot of the teachers in high school and college on top of just straight out bad advice. And I feel like so many of these teachers end up discouraging. I knew a girl. She could have been amazing. She really was doing good. She'd worked with me for years, came to my classes. And she was probably, I'd guess around 12 when I started working with her. And I worked with her until she was she a junior or a senior in high school? I don't remember. But she was with me for years. She really was improving. And she wasn't amazing when she started. But she was improving and doing a great job. I left. And she had had problems with her high school art teacher degrading, telling her how bad she was. She wasn't doing a good job, kept failing her. She'd bring me her artwork. Like, I remember one time she had a bulldog, an English bulldog. She drew the dog. The art teacher fixed the paws by messing it up. And I'm like, that art teacher doesn't know anything about perspective. What the? Are you kidding me right now? And she's failing you, and her correction was to twist the paw in a way it cannot move. And I'm not saying, like, we're not talking about trying to go with, you know, a Picasso style where things are all twisted all over the place. That's not what this was. It was supposed to be realism. And this teacher couldn't draw herself, and yet she's over here deciding if somebody else is good or not. So she, when I left, I talked to the mom of the girl years later after I left California. They were so mad I left because I was the class that the kid was taking, or the main one she liked. And this teacher pushed her out of art. It just was so discouraging nonstop that this girl no longer paints or draws. She would be amazing. But because the teacher was giving such bad advice and was discouraging her so badly, she gave up on art. And that's what just drives me crazy about a lot of these so-called teachers from colleges and high schools. Are there good ones? Absolutely. I've seen some. There are few and far between, but there are some amazing ones out there. But you get these other ones who I'm like, first off, you shouldn't be allowed around children anyway because you are discouraging in them instead of helping them to grow. You're giving them bad advice. And then you can't even draw, but you're over here judging them and pushing them away from being artists and away from doing something that they used to enjoy and love, and now they won't even touch the tools because to them, they now associate it with being beaten down. Those are the teachers that just drive me crazy, and they give bad advice after bad advice, and I'm just like, ugh. So yeah, that I have an issue with most high school and college art teachers are crap. There are some good ones, not very many. Good luck finding one. I see them do far more damage than they do good for the art world. Let's see. Whoops, that just jumped. EO said, I have learned more from you than anyone else. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Susan said, looks great. Work commitments mean I have missed the last few streams. Aw. Dang work. Cat's Art Pick said, good live stream. Have a good weekend. Thanks. You too. Paul said, I'm so glad most schools got a progressive approach with learning lately, and I love it. It's more of a collaboration rather than a singular learning purveyor, i.e. the teacher. I don't know about that. I'm not sure on that one. I have not seen good things happening out of schools. I guess it would depend on, I think it would depend on the school, and it depends on the teacher, because I'm seeing a lot of stuff where it's like, wow, you've got no matter how I word that, it's going to offend people. I don't know. It depends. I wish that there was a way too when we teach where they could take, and I don't know how you do that in a group setting. So I actually am glad to see a lot more people homeschooling and being able to if it's done right, to cater or not cater, curate a lesson around what works best for that student. I mean, I remember a guy I knew, genius, and I'm not saying just genius like, oh, he was smart. No, he was an actual genius. But he was failing school because the school was not working around. The school was boring him. He wouldn't do his homework. He's like, this is boring. Why would I do this? He aced every single test. They put him into the special needs classes with the kids who were like, had speech problems or communication problems or like very, very low IQ type situations. They put the genius in with them because he was failing his class. That's the sort of thing that I would really like to see changed to where we could alter a class based on what a specific I don't know how you do that in a group setting though. It's hard when you've got that many students. So that's why I'm kind of like, I think homeschooling can be done right and in a way that could really benefit a lot of kids, especially when it's done in like a pod type setting where you've got like one teacher working with multiple kids of different grades. So they're still getting the interaction with other kids. I'm not saying make them sit at home in a closet all day by themselves either. That's not going to be super great, but it would be nice to see more kids being able to have a more tailored approach to how they would learn. This is going to look absolutely terrible today, by the way. We're just starting to block in some of this color. I've just seen some weird things and weird teachings out of schools that I'm just like, whoa, that's not good. That's not going to end well. Yeah, Paul said, I agree with you on the whole typical classroom setting. The typical curriculum is outdated anyway. I say that online learning is progressive. Yeah, I mean, there are definitely some benefits to that. That's for sure. I like that. I like the idea of kids being able to be around other kids because you need that social interaction. That is very, very important. But also for the teaching, it'd be nice if it could be, again, a little bit more curated around what works best. So like with me, I learn better visually, like having someone show me something. If you tell me something, I am not going to grasp it like I will if I can see it. So, that matters. Whereas another student may fall behind in the same situation. So like if we could kind of, I don't know how you tailor that for each individual student, but like the one guy I was telling you about, my friend, he was failing his classes. I think he dropped out and did a GED because he couldn't do it. It was so rough. And then it started messing with him emotionally because he's like put in a classroom with kids he can't relate to. He is very quick-witted, very like, I'm not like super high IQ level. To be put into a class with people who he can't communicate, he can't have a conversation, like this is not anyone he's going to relate to. And now the other kids, his other peers are treating him weirdly like, oh, you're in that class. Like it was bad all around. I don't know. Whoever was in charge of that decision needed to be fired. Natalie Begg said, I teach my niece and she really looks up to me as an artist, but I have to thank you for that. Aw, I learned from you for my own sake. So I teach her the right stuff too. That's awesome. Julie said, I've learned so much from your lessons. I've drawn in graphite since I was young. And since finding you, I use acrylic, color pencil, charcoal, and pastel, plus my graphite work has improved loads. I have goosebumps. That's so awesome to hear. Let's see. Kyra said, some teachers are bitter that they can't sell their work, so they discourage others from being good. I think that you are onto something there. I think that you do have a lot of teachers who just didn't succeed as artists, and they are bitter about that, and so they run around telling all of the students, oh, you can't make a living doing this. You can, you're just bad at it. Well, and then this is the other thing where a lot of artists, you fail. You may have a teacher who could have been good, but they didn't learn anything about business and marketing. And so that's really what hurt them. And if they could have learned that, they might have been happier themselves, but they didn't do it. That's definitely something that, like a huge complaint I have about college type courses too, is that they don't push that enough. It's like, just give us money and we're setting you up to have to go work at Macy's after this because you're not actually going to be able to make a career out of what you did learn from us, with very few exceptions. I mean, I guess that's true of college in general. Me and my mom were talking about that. She goes, of all the people I knew who got a college degree, she's like, I don't think I know any of them besides doctors who are working in the thing that they went to school for. They just how many of them changed majors and the things that it's a mess. Our school system is a mess. Let's see. Artistic Flower said, you're a great at art. Oh, thank you. Josephina said, your tips have helped me so much more than from school. I tried out your graphite owl drawing and the background came out so well. Yay! I like your instructions, so easy to follow. Oh, I'm glad. Yay. Paul said, true, it should be immersive and engaging enough to cater to each student. So ironic how these schools are still conforming to what's regarded as medieval. Yeah, like, you think we would know enough. I don't know. I'm going to say something that's all of piss people off, so we'll stop. Cavium said, considering our country is in a shortage of teachers, maybe we'll get more teachers and can hopefully separate students into specific groups and learn like that. Yeah, and I think that's a big part of the problem. I think that you've just hit the nail on the head. Look at me using fancy terms correctly. No, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, how do you cater to one student who is extremely advanced, like in the case of my friend I was talking about? How do you cater to that person and still keep everyone else? I mean, that makes it hard. When I taught my art classes, everyone was working on a different project. I can only do about 12 students before I start slipping and I can't help everybody. And these classrooms are so big, how could the teacher help everyone as needed? Like, it's just our whole system, there needs to be there are better ways, and we need to make some changes. Dee said, I had a great teacher in college. She took me out of fashion class to make me spend more time on fine art. That was awesome. See, they exist. There are good teachers out there, and I apologize if anyone's watching and they're like, but I'm good. I'm sorry that I'm not meaning to bash you. Teach your colleagues. They suck. But, I mean, there are good teachers out there. Just finding them can be such a challenge. I know so many people who thought when they went to going to college meant they were going to improve their art. And what the teacher did was tear down their art and make them look like they were painting, like a 4-year-old painting with their feet. Like that, no, this is how we have to do it. Like it just, I mean, if that's the style you like, there's nothing wrong with that. My problem is when somebody clearly went in going, I want to improve my realism, but the teacher was like, nope, I can't do realism, so I'm going to teach you how to look like you sat on this and called it a painting. Kineho. You're having too much fun over there. Let's see. Hobby artist said, do you think colored pencil pieces can be in an impressionist style? Would it be more textured paper be the best for that? Oh, you absolutely could. And yes, sanded paper I do think would be the easiest by far. If I were going to do something more impressionistic with colored pencil, hands down, sanded paper would be my choice. But I think that it's a medium you could do other things. It's just that it's such a slow medium. So like a lot of the times when you do something that's more impressionistic, it doesn't take that long if I were to do acrylics or oils. I do that in colored pencil. No matter what I do in colored pencil, it just takes a long time to get that color down, so it probably wouldn't be my first choice unless I was working on sanded paper. I think I would go that route. Sarah said, writing professors are the same way. I had one younger one who was amazed and encouraging, but the others reeked of failed all their bitterness. George said, I took many art classes in college. Drawing classes were good, but the painting teacher, acrylic, didn't give any helpful advice. Makes me wonder if that professor made art. Probably not. They usually don't. So you had some good ones, which is awesome, and then you had your typical. No, most of the time they do not. I know of a lot of, there's one woman who does colored pencil classes constantly, but she doesn't draw herself. And her classes are like, well, they're only for beginners, really. But it's like, that is all she, I don't know. You just have to wonder when someone's teaching and they don't do art themselves, like, I don't know, it just makes me question some stuff. Let's see. Paul said, you're such a great teacher. Lisa, happy belated Teacher's Day, by the way. Oh, thank you. Karina said, I tattoo teachers often. Some have told me they are trained in other topics, but because of the shortage of teachers, they have to teach art instead of English or so on. It's crazy. That makes sense. It absolutely makes sense. So we're giving kids degrees in art from somebody who is not an artist, is the one making the... And those kids are paying up the rear to go to those classes. That is just freaking insane. We are just silly, silly people doing silly, silly things and paying way too much for it. Okay, my back is feeling better sitting here in good posture, and you guys have distracted me well. I feel so much better than when I started. Thank you guys. I'm so glad you came and hung out with me. I have to be careful. I'm using this blue. It's a cool blue, but it will still, I'm up against oranges and peaches. I could create mud really easily, so I have to be careful on this one. The ibuprofen definitely helped with my back too. I have a feeling I need to keep taking a regular dose of that for the next couple of days until my back calms down. And keep remembering to use a good posture. Wait, where's her? Okay, this is her toe. I'm going to shade a little bit on her toes so I don't miss. There you go, Glitch. Now you have feet, so I can keep track of where your feet go. Okay, Glitch is going to have to get a bigger cage soon. I've chosen the size I want. I'm going to upgrade her to an 18 by 18 by 24. And that will be her forever, like, enclosure. But over the next, I don't know if it'll be this month or next month, but I do need to go get one and make her an upgrade. Because she's getting to where she's moving around really well. Like, she still kind of moves drunk. She has her troubles. But she is getting around good to where I think her, and I've always known her, she's in a 12 by 12 by 18 inch. That is way too small for a red-eyed tree frog. And she's also getting big now. She's eating, well, because I'm force feeding her. But she's the one, so if you're new here, Glitch, this is Glitch, is one, these are actually all my red-eyed tree frogs, are 3 of the, how many do I have now? 6. Glitch is my special needs frog. She has a neurological disorder. It was caused by medication for, she had parasites, had to medicate her, but she had a bad reaction to the medication. It's kind of the short version of that story. And she started walking in circles. Everything was in circles. And that's always, when an animal's doing that, you're like, yeah, neurological crap. So she couldn't catch her food. She would look for it and go to dive and dive that way. Like, she'd be ready for it, going after that cricket, and then take off that way. So she couldn't, something was not wired right, which is why we call her Glitch. So she, we thought we were going to lose her. I talked to different frog people and they said, yeah, I've seen it happen. And usually they only make it, like theirs were only a few weeks because they starve to death. And a frog won't eat something that doesn't move. So it's not like she's just going to go to a bowl where things are still. They won't eat it. So she's losing weight. And I'm like, I can't watch this. So I was like, you know what, screw it. I've got nothing to lose. She's got nothing to lose. Let's try force feeding her. So I use an expired Costco card and pop her mouth open, shove in crickets that I've pre-exited from life. It's really gross. I have to do some prep work on them to make it safer. Anyway, pop that in her mouth. And we've been doing that every 2 to 3 days now since, when did this start? January? She's put on weight. She's grown. She's moving around better now that she's in this nicer enclosure. I made her that small one, but I wanted her in a small enclosure because I didn't, if she fell, which she does a lot, I didn't want her falling too far and hurting herself. So I put her in the small one. She's doing so well. I think she can be in a bigger one, like a more appropriate size for her. I wouldn't recommend any frog to be in one her size, but hers was basically a really nice planted hospital tank was what I made for her. So that she's doing so well. I want her in a big tank, bigger. I think she can handle it. So I'm going to have to get one of those going. Let's see. Paul said, heck, I learned from you that acrylic paintings are valuable. Had I not known you, I might have considered acrylics as a medium for kids because they're like the general impression. People think the same thing of colored pencil. They think of them as crayons, and it's like, I charge more for colored pencil than I do for an oil painting. People have this attitude that an oil painting is always more valuable. But it's not, and we're definitely, I think, waking people up to that, because I sell more colored pencil work than I do a lot of my paintings too. People are willing to pay more if they like the way that specific painting was. So yeah, we're getting the word out there, that's for sure, on some of these things. Actually, you know what? I should get the deeper red. Let's do some of that edging first. Actually, no, more red. How's Purple Frog doing? Still improving. So his urine no longer has that funky smell. I haven't smelled that in his enclosure in quite a while now. So I think I'm going to give him his tree back. I'm going to sterilize it and put the tree back. Like, it's a fake tree for him to sit on. He normally ignores it, but I'm like, his enclosure is just enclosure. He's in the same size tank that Glitch is in, but without the branches. So there's technically more room, but he's got that water dish, food dish, that's it. And paper towels for the bottom. Because I needed to be able to sterilize it because I wasn't sure what was going on. Anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and give him this tree back. I was just thinking about that this morning. I'm going to give him the tree back so he has a little bit more in there. But he still gets swollen. He still gets the random blotchy brown or pale gray. Not as often. It seems to be less. So I do suspect the parasites had affected his kidneys and that was what's going on. Now, the parasites could technically still be in his kidneys and not passing through to where I'm finding that in a fecal sample. I did a sample or a stool sample or it's fecal test. When did I do that? Maybe 2-3 weeks ago, and it was still clear. But if that's still, I don't know. So I'm just watching him. I don't feel comfortable putting him with any other frogs yet because I don't know if he's contagious. I don't know what's wrong with him. No one knows what's wrong with him. It's weird symptoms, but he still does good. He gets up, he's eating, he's doing well. He's eating well, everything. I don't know. And then I've got the two little special needs, the deformed frogs. What am I looking for? Deeper red. They're doing good. I think I've got at least one of them, I think, is a male, which is good because the boys bark and they're smaller. So they're doing well too, but they're still in their little quarantine tank just because that's where they are. And I can't do a planted tank for the two special needs ones or the two deformed ones because one of them, the one that I call Quasi-Frogo, he's got a deformed spine and he will more often than not sleep on the paper towel on the floor. Now, normally when you see a red-eyed tree frog do that, you're like, oh, you're sick, you're gonna die. That is not good. I think in his case, he falls from the glass a lot. And so I can't give them a nice tall enclosure like any tree frog should have, tall versus wide. I think with them, I'm gonna go a 20 long, so a wide tank, so they've got more room this way. But he falls from the glass way too often when he tries to climb on it. He's got one arm that stretches all the way and one is up here, and then he's got a deformed spine. So I think with him, I'm gonna like kind of modify something that I can still sterilize, because if he's gonna sleep on the floor, I need to be able to sterilize that. Whereas if he was sleeping on dirt, there's a possibility of bacteria building there because it's not being cleaned all the time. You don't want him just sitting on the dirt for like he does. So anyway, yeah, that is what's going on with them. They're doing really well. I'm pretty happy about it. Let's see. Nick said, Glitch has done so well. I remember thinking at the onset of her symptoms that she wouldn't be around for very long. Look at her now. Same thing. I was so depressed. Well, Nick especially knows because I tell Nick all the medical stuff because he's apparently as big of a nerd on animal medical stuff as I am. But no, I was so depressed. I was so ready to give up on red-eyed tree frogs when I kept losing them. They kept having parasites. Of the 9 red-eyed tree frogs I've had, 8 of them have had parasites. That's how common this is. But it's weird because in that industry, and you guys have heard me say this before, but in that industry, for some reason, people don't talk about it. They pretend that they don't. You'll see people go, oh, my frogs are clean. If you've not done a fecal test, you can't make that claim. They probably aren't. And that doesn't mean that somebody isn't taking good care of them. It means that that information needs to be out there so people know you need to be doing tests on them because the parasites are so common. And like with mine, they will be tested minimum every 6 months. But more, actually, I need to test. I haven't tested if I can ever find them. Murky is about due for another test. But they get it. There's 2 theories. One is that once they've had these parasites, they'll go dormant in their system and randomly wake up, kind of like ache and fish, that it can be dormant for years and years, and then suddenly a stressor comes on or something happens and the parasites start up. The other thing, so that's one theory, and that was from scientific papers. They suspect that it's just always there, so you may have to treat the frog throughout its life. The other is that they're getting it from the crickets. Are bringing it in, and there's no way to know if the cricket is carrying a parasite or not. So you're always going to have to treat them. But for people don't want to admit that. It's like this weird thing, and I see it and it drives me crazy in the frog groups. People will be like, here's my frog, it's looking thin, what do you think? And people will be like, well, where did you get it? Is it captive bred or wild caught? If it's wild caught, it's got parasites. If it's captive bred, it has parasites too. Either way, that is how this works. But no, it is the weirdest. You don't have it in fish. No one denies that fish all get parasites, but for some reason about the frogs, everyone likes to pretend that if you went captive bred, that none of them have these issues, and they usually do. Random little ranty thing there, but yeah, when Glitch, so hers was from the parasites, when we thought she was dead, I was so depressed. And dealing with just nonstop, like, really? I've got parasites on these guys again? Like, I got a new one, I went through a private breeder, should have been a problem, and then it pops up. It was just very discouraging for a while there, but now that now I know what to look for, I know how to do the tests on my own, and we've got Glitch is the easiest. She's such a good frog. I know, who says that? It's a good frog. It's a frog. But she's gotten so used to being force-fed, she doesn't really fight me. It's quick, in and out, done. If I were to try to do that with any one of my other frogs, they would fight me. Oh my God, it's going to be a whole 15 to 20 minutes to get it in their mouth and then to get them to swallow. Not her. You pop her mouth open, you stick it in. You don't even have to get the crickets all the way in, and I'll put 3 or 4 in at the same time. Big old mouthful, and she's like, I'm swallowing it all. She wants it. Yeah, I'm really happy with how she's doing. Julie said, God, Purple Frog is doing a bit better. Has he got a name or will he always be Purple Frog? I think I'm always going to call him Purple Frog. He was supposed to be Murloco, but I swear every time I name him, originally Glitch was supposed to be Murloco, and then we know what happened to Glitch, and then there's a glitch in her matrix, so she's Glitch. And then this guy was supposed to be Murloco. He ended up with parasites, and then he's just been, I need to stop trying to name frogs that. It's from World of Warcraft, Murloc with tacos. But so I have a feeling he's just always going to be Purple Frog. We were just so used to calling him that. Let's see. Are you still going to have an axolotl? I'm never going to have one. I don't have it. No more pets. I'm full up on pets. Hi Shayna said, only could join just now, had a long day. Bought tin soup, but when I opened it, it was all solid and clumpy. So having dinner the lazy way, eating a tin of sweet corn. Oh God, I've had those nights. I'm laughing because I'm like, I thought I was the only person that does it. I'm like, I'm too lazy to cook. I'm just going to go eat this can of corn. Like, I wouldn't even heat it, just cold out of the thing. I'm like, it's food, whatever. Let's see. Natalie said, speaking of parasites, white spot has cleared up in my freshwater tank. Nice, congratulations. That's a big deal. Do you guys do with freshwater UV sterilizers like we do with saltwater? That is not the pencil I wanted. Is that sometimes helps keep the numbers down. Also, oh my gosh, Susan, thank you so much. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, Susan. Yay, aw, goosebumps. Thank you. Aw, I'm gonna cry. What was I trying to do? Oh, no, I know what I was doing. Where are we at? Oh, we're 15 minutes. So or 5 minutes. We're almost done. So this is not, obviously, we're just making a hot mess right now. I'm just layering this down. Oh, I'm so excited. We're almost done with this. Artistic Flower said, your art is looking great. Thank you. Okay. Do I have anything to tell you guys before I wrap this up? I don't know. I don't think I've got anything. I'll be working on the watercolor piece. I'm doing this watercolor right now. It's going to be mixed media. I made the decision it was going to be mixed media going into it. The problem is I want to keep finishing everything in watercolor. And I'm like, no, simplify it. You don't need to put the detail. You're going to do that in colored pencil. Make it easier on yourself. But yeah, that's what I'm working on tonight. And so I'll post that probably over on MeWe when I get depends on how it starts to look. I really do like where it's at right now, but it's definitely an ugly stage. But the colors, oh, I'm really happy. So that's one I think I'm going to want framed and on my own wall. We'll see. But I'm working on that at the moment. That I'm going to try. My goal is to get it done, to work on it tonight and tomorrow and have it done tomorrow night. I've been trying to get my artwork done on Saturday nights, and then Sunday can be the day I do the Patreon voiceover, which means I get all day Monday off. So, but that also means I've really, I will be working my butt off tonight and tomorrow night to get that finished, which if I can keep my posture good, my back should allow. Let's see. God, there's so many purples and pinks and blues. Like, this is a really odd, you really have to look at something like this as an abstract shape because it doesn't look like a jellyfish right now. The top does, but the rest doesn't. That's not even done. Lisa said, I almost resorted to a UV sterilizer in my freshwater tank, but the problem I had at the time finally cleared up, so I didn't. Yeah, I didn't even know if you guys use that. I don't know a lot about freshwater, so I don't know if those, I mean, I guess it makes sense that it would work too. You know what's weird to me about freshwater? Using tap water. What? If you do that on a saltwater tank, everything's going downhill. But so that's a really odd thing to me. I have just a little planted beta tank, so that's the extent of my freshwater knowledge. I need to do a water change on him. But I'm like, no, RODI, it'll be clean. And I get why you don't, but it's still weird to me that you use tap water on, dechlorinated, but there are some weird things. You freshwater people have some weird rules. They don't make sense to me as a saltwater person. I thought that if I ever did a tank again, I wanted a big planted, like the ones where they do those surreal landscapes. I didn't realize what a problem algae is in some of those tanks with fresh water. So I ended up not going that route. I just got back into the saltwater instead. Holy crap, this is just a blur of just so much stuff in here. Okay, we will wrap this up. I will be seeing you guys. We will finish this. Let's actually zoom this out so you can see the whole piece so far. Oh, my back is not going to want me to stand up right now. Hold on. Can I zoom it out this way? I don't know how. No, that's not the button I want. Easel. I don't know if that's zoomed in or not that way. Camera control, zoom. That helps some. But I also will kind of move this out so we can see it a bit. So there's, well, the angle is a bit weird, but you can see where we're at on this. So goals are finish the jellyfish, get glitch drawn in. So this needs to be done. And then we'll spend one lesson where we just go through, like you can see where I've got the aqua around this guy. I need to pull aqua into everybody else. So it just ties everything else together nicely. We'll work on values or contrast a little bit. I think some of the shark definitely needs to be darker so that his light areas look lighter. We need to get that contrast in there. So we have some adjusting to do, but we're finally, I feel like we're finally getting somewhere on this. So make sure if you have not already, check out Nick and Joseph. They both have art channels here on YouTube. Links are in the video description. Joseph does regular live streams, which is fun. It's a lot of the same people in this chat will be in that chat. So we get to hang out more than just on these streams. So fun. Plus I get to actually just sit in the chat, which is also fun. So anyway, check those out. What else? MeWe, follow me on MeWe. It's like Facebook when Facebook was good. Look, I didn't even have a Facebook rant today, but MeWe it's a great platform. Check that out. Link is in the description. That is free. My post, if you want to follow, you can follow my personal page, which is where I typically post the pictures of my frogs or my dogs, the fish, that sort of thing. I've also got my art page. That link, if I did my job right, should be in the video description. I need to get some TikTok stuff done. I keep saying that. I haven't done any new ones lately, so that will be happening. And I think that's it. I will see you guys on, let's see, next uploaded video, unless I do so. I'll probably get some YouTube shorts in before that, but my next edited video will be Tuesday, so my schedule now Tuesday, a new art video. Wednesday is the live stream. Thursday is a art tip of some sort, and Friday is another live stream. So there's the current schedule, and thank you guys for joining. Yes, you can follow me on TikTok as well. That link is in the description. If I did my job right, I probably didn't. I bet I didn't. I'm bad. Okay, I will see you guys. Well, I'll see you on MeWe this weekend. Bye. I don't know where my buttons are again. Bye again.